Welcome, boys, to the Back Forecast mid-season review. We've almost had 17 games of the Premier League. Usually, this is a time that we look back, reflect, and see who look like the strong contenders, who've been flops. This time of the year gives you a good idea of how the season's going to end. So it's a good time to reflect, good time to see how our predictions are holding up. If you want to make new predictions, mind you, after this, we're not going to make any more predictions. I know that we've been taking a lot of predictions every second week, but this today will be the last and final, at least for the three of us, and it'll be imprinted. It'll be it. Yeah. Before we get into the exact format that I have prepared for you guys today, just wanted to know from you guys how is this start of the season or this season compared to like the last few years? How are you liking it? Let's start with the Real Madrid fan in the pink jersey.
Poor choice of jersey, just by the way.
दिमाग का दही बना रहा है bro. Nirav suddenly Premier League दिखा रहे हैं. But this Premier League season has actually been so much better than I expected, and compared to previous years also. Number one reason, City looks like a weak team, and I haven't seen this in a while, right? I think in the last 10 seasons, if I look back, City were not contenders only for 2 seasons. One was Pep's first season, and the second one was when Liverpool won the COVID title, right? That is refreshing. And the other thing that is absolutely mind-blowing for me is how Unai Emery is forcing himself into the title contender mix, right? You've got to love it. And who better to compete with other than his old employers, right? AJ, what's your take on that, bro?
We'll be there for the fall. We're here for the rise, you'll be there for the fall. Unai Emery, dude, it's I mean, Leicester happens once in 100 years. I'm very confident it won't happen again. It'll be Arteta who's going to win it. But Trump's kudos to Unai Emery and the stuff that he's built up at Aston Villa. But again, to your point, right, this season has been really unusual in terms of the number of teams competing, then compactness at the top. I think the top 4 are separated by 4 points, top 2 by literally 1 point, and there's not much to separate even when it comes to goal difference. Some teams are scoring a lot of goals, some teams are defending really well, and there's a lot of compactness right at the top, also at the bottom, because Bournemouth are kind of are being dragged into the relegation battle, and then the midfield is also very, very compact. I think it's a very, very exciting season.
I think this is probably one of the first times in 4 or 5 years or something that I don't know who's going to be the top 2. Usually last few years it was a mix of Liverpool and Man City, but for some reason always knew that Man City is going to win. I think everyone did. But this year is just very interesting, and yeah, that should bring us to the first topic that we have to debate today. This is going to be the team of the season. Basically, this can be someone who you think is going to win the league, or maybe someone who's been the best but still not up there amongst the points, but still have shown that they can be the top team. It can be anything that you want it to be. So let's start with AJ. Bro, who is your team of the season for this point in the Premier League?
There are a lot of contenders. I think Arsenal definitely up there. There are other teams, but for me it's going to be Liverpool, especially given the fact that what happened with them with Caicedo, Lavia. They didn't get it. They went on to get a no-name in Endo, who's been on and off. I won't say he's been a success, but they have managed to bed in their new signings in the midfield, the whole revamped midfield, really well. They're riding their wave with the 4 best players in the world, with Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil and Salah. But those 4 are probably more than enough to win you a title if they are on songs. So I think for me, they've been a surprise given their position.
Nihal, having faced Liverpool at Anfield just recently, having survived that, do you think they're not to be the team of the season or anything? They're not that lethal?
I mean, stats speak for itself, right? They have really high XG. You could say that United played really well, but I know that you won't say that, so I'm just gonna skip past that point. But that game was, dare I say, sort of like a tactical masterclass from Erik ten Hag, where he knew that he had clear intentions of going there for a draw.
How many games will you wait to say this sentence?
It's 17 games apparently, so let me live with it though. Fuck off. But in a way, they are a really hard team to beat, and also they're really hard team to get points off. At home, they're extremely strong. Fulham found out the hard way, even after scoring 3 goals, they have quality out of nowhere. that they could go and win those games. Like even United game, you could argue that like, you know, they could have one of those shots that Trent was taking could have gone in. They have that X factor. They have the experience of winning the league once and taking it all the way, and they would definitely fancy Arsenal over City as their title rivals, right? I must say that I'm actually very impressed with how Klopp so far has managed the Europa League. Until now, everything went to his plan. He finished top of his Europa League, so he has a strong foothold to finish in the top 4 to qualify for Champions League. So I don't see him taking that competition seriously. He'll probably put all of his eggs in Premier League basket, and they should be dreaming. Like halfway through the stage, almost halfway, they're 1 point behind leaders, and they'll play the leaders next week at home. So
Yeah.
I think everything's lining up for them.
No, I agree with you and also disagree with you, because I think team of the season should be someone who's the best, clearly. And I don't think Liverpool are the best. I think there are two teams who are better than Liverpool this season and teams who can beat Liverpool. Not Arsenal, but my team of the season is going to be Aston Villa. What made me fully convinced that this is the best team of the Premier League till now was last week when they were, they just came off 2-1-0 victories against like the top two teams of the country. And then they had to face a very resilient Brentford who basically happy to sit back. And they came about with points, man. 3 points. They were not the best, but they still took points. So that shows me that they have character, and they were amazing against Man City and okay against Arsenal, but still took 3 points. They're comfortably in the top 4 right now, so that is also a really big achievement in itself. They have 15 or 16 consecutive wins at Villa Park right now. If Liverpool and Arsenal draw, or if Arsenal don't win that game, they have a chance to be top at Christmas. And the last time that a non-top 6 team was at top during Christmas was Leicester. You know what happened that season? Could be one of those seasons where there's a fairy tale ending. You have to say something?
No, just to add some more weight to your argument, right? Like I was reading the stat that in the calendar year 2023, Unai Emery and Aston Villa have picked up 83 points so far, only behind City, and they have 2 more games in the calendar year. And last year, City won the title with 89 points. If you have that thing in perspective, it's not like this season's form. They have serious momentum going in from last season as well. They finished 7th last year out of like obscurity to finish Conference League spots. This is a team that will not go away, and I agree and also disagree with your team of the season pick, because clearly it's very subjective. And for me personally, I think the team that impressed me the most was Spurs. I know a lot of like our viewers have been calling me out for being a Spurs fan. I'm not, but
because you are.
they've really impressed me for the fact that losing a player of Harry Kane's caliber, and dare I say, Harry Kane has 28 goal and assist contributions so far in this season. Although he's playing in a Farmers League, it is a player of like.
Although he's playing in a Farmers League,
but he's a player who's like could be in Ballon d'Or come next year, right? Mm-hmm. And losing a player like that and not spending all crazy lot of money and like having a new manager come in, dude, fucking Ange managed in Celtic, bro. Like no one saw this team coming, and for me, Tottenham so far are the team of the season for the fact that they are punching above their weight, beating all expectations, and they had no momentum like Aston Villa from last season, but they just purely kicked on from this season and taken away. So that's for me is my team of the season. I know you boys will hate it.
Anyways, you want to call the bullshit here, or should I?
100%, dude. Like they spent a lot of money first of all, and secondly, they are 6th, 7th. They are where they should be. So there are no surprises. They were first for the initial 10 games, and now they're not. It's been 7 game weeks since they've been anywhere close to their best. But yeah, I mean, I agree. They've been fine.
They've been entertainers. They're good offensively, but sure, man, come on.
I'd argue that like the so-called title contenders right now, let's just take Arsenal for instance. The only game that they were poor was against Spurs. They could have lost that game, is my argument. Like
could have won it too.
They could have won it too. Like Spurs could have won it. Like not, I definitely think Arsenal were second best in that game and that game alone in the entire season. Ange is cooking something, and I think he's doing something with this team, and you never know. We might have a surprise.
They might be your overperformers or like overachievers because your expectations were so low given the last season. Yeah. But for me, they were not the team of the season given like it's literally been 6 months. You can't really judge the manager and the man already. And he's doing a great job.
We respect your opinion, bro. Like always, we respect your opinion.
For Aston Villa, I feel like the only reason why I think they're going to fall is just because it's a systems team. It's not an individual quality team. But if they suffer a few injuries, just like Tottenham, and the Conference League, pile up when it happens in February, FA Cup coming into the fold, probably Unai Emery will going to go for at least one trophy given the season that they're having. So that kind of puts up a lot of pressure. And if they suffer like a Douglas Luiz injury, or let's say a Kamara or an Ollie Watkins injury, then it becomes a little tough for them to sustain what they are on the road that they are. So I think that becomes a little issue with
don't you think you're saying systems team, but I actually agree to the point that system teams are the teams that win trophies, right? Like it's not necessary. For example, if this was an individual team, any individual injury would like derail them. But I think just because it's a systems team, I don't think injuries are gonna derail them. Just like Leicester, they'll have backups come in and do like half-ass jobs, but still the structure of the team and how they play and how positive they are will maintain. And as they are still around the same position by Christmas, the excitement is just going to be too much. Villa Park is going to be a really, really tough ground to go to play. It's going to be like Arsenal last season or the Leicester season. It's sometimes the push is just so high that everyone's excited in the football club and they're just on the up, and this momentum just carries them forward. And not to say that the media is going to love this story. So the script writers, you know how I always talk about the PL script writers.
No, I think the only thing is, like, if I'm thinking of Leicester, right, 4 players that come to mind were Schmeichel, Conte, Mahrez, and Vardy, and none of them were ever injured in that season. So similar thing can happen to Aston Villa, right? None of the main players can ever get
injured. Yeah, you have your Douglas Luiz, you have Pau Torres, you have Emi Martinez, and you have Watkins.
If they remain on the pitch throughout the season, we don't know what's going to happen.
Arguably, they have a better squad than Leicester did. I mean, think about it. They have Diaby, who everyone wanted. They have Leon Bailey, who was in such hot form. Jacob Ramsey is in really good form. Kamara is so good. Diego Carlos is having a really good season. Matty Cash.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I had them in my top 4 ever since. I'm going to link that video because...
When did this happen, Nihal? When did he have Aston Villa in the top 4?
We have it on tape, so I don't have to prove my point. I'll link that video.
I don't believe it.
And also, to our listeners, Animesh is our ops guy, so he could probably doctor that video, so don't believe it. Me and Leah were saying it didn't happen, it didn't happen.
Yeah. it's I think it's one of the videos where I did it with when you guys were away for Halloween or something.
For sure.
It's one of those videos.
For sure. And also they have the player, bro, Callum Chambers. Forgetting someone, guys?
I genuinely forgot he existed.
In that jersey.